problem is that currently the majority of energy production, which is needed for production, for all our generating income, is based on fossil fuel. So there will have to be a big change and accordingly a big structural change in the economy to replace all the old equipment and machinery with newer ones which rely then on clean sources of energy. And like any big structural change, this causes a lot of frictions. Many old assets have to be written off, so there are losses and people do not want to give up. We can't use oil anymore, so the owners of natural resources will not be able to exploit their riches anymore. But in our economies, many assets have to be written off. Credit has to be cut to old firms and reallocated to new ones. Labor has to move. So there are a lot of frictions in this process, which makes it really difficult to achieve. I think it needs more than one policy instrument to address this problem. I think a threefold strategy is necessary. The first and most important pillar is that there is a high price on using carbon. This is a precondition for all the other policies that can brighten the picture also. The high price of carbon has to send a signal to the economy and also to all individuals that we cannot rely on using old technology with fossil fuel anymore and must replace it very fast with newer one. It is also important that the prices are high so that the industry has a big incentive to innovate in order to reduce cost. Cost-reducing innovation is a normal process in the industry, but it relies on the fact that there is a high cost that needs to be replaced. So that is a second role for the high carbon prices to initiate innovation. So innovation is the second most important aspect. The government also needs to invest in basic research and probably also encourage with limited R&D subsidies the creation of new technology so that we can go there with a much lower economic cost. And the third one, I think, is that we have to take care that we facilitate the process of structural change. That we help workers moving to new jobs and that we reduce the frictions. I mean, there are many policy instruments that can facilitate these roles. We need a good, robust bankruptcy process. We need robust banks that can reallocate the credit. And so there are lots of supportive policies, and we must also make sure that in the meantime, when energy prices are high, that these high costs are adjusted by adjusting the distributional policies. Yeah? If low-income people are disproportionately hit hard by energy prices, then we probably need to readjust the real value of transfers that we use to support the low-income people.
Now, that's also a very, very difficult task because, yes, many say, oh, we should estimate the cost and the price of carbon. Well, it's not so easy. So if we think about the US, for example, the carbon price went from $50 per ton of CO2 with Obama down to $5 with Trump and now up to $190 with Biden. So it's not really only an exercise of estimation, it's not only statistics, it's also a lot of ethical choices because these effects of our purchase of this flight ticket and this emission of carbon is everywhere and extremely complicated. We might make it harder for some people living on islands that are recently getting submerged by water. We might make extinction of some animals become more likely. We might make future generations face more difficulties, but we might also increase the likelihood that there will be a technological breakthrough because the carbon prices, because the environmental conditions are worse. And all these have to be captured by one number, and that's extremely hard. So that's one of the points that often politicians raise to avoid introducing high carbon prices. But these points are a little bit weak in my view, because if we want to price electricity by including the cost of carbon, we could just do that and then return the money to the citizens equally across the citizens. Now, what is key here is that the CO2 emissions are higher for richer individuals because they pollute more, they travel more, they buy more, they have more waste, they have higher pollution. So if there was a tax of say $200 to $250 per ton of CO2, they are the ones that would pay most. Yes, we care about those that cannot afford this additional cost, but those individuals would be compensated by returning these revenues to them in equal amount to every citizen. In practice, what happens is that 80% of individuals would have a benefit from the carbon tax in terms of lump sum redistribution. So that idea that you take proportionally to the emission and you return the money to the individuals based on the number of individuals. Then the poor individuals would benefit because they will get money from the polluting emissions of the high income individuals.
Well, we need new technologies which expand the production of renewable energy. There have been examples in the past. For example, the price of solar cells over a period of 20 years fell by a factor of 100. So that's a huge, and that's why now everybody can install solar panels. Now, in economic policy, it's probably not the right thing to ask specifically which innovations we want to support. We must take care that the process of innovation functions very fluently. So one responsibility by the government is that it funds basic research, which private industry cannot do, funds basic research in the area of renewable energy in order to, which then has the function to facilitate industrial innovation in the private sector in order to develop new technologies that help to speed up and scale up the production of renewable energy.